Recording in progress. Hello, today I am doing a reading on looking for my book for pages. Had the darn thing. Regarding this eclipse that's coming up, and you can see I have this chart set to the 17th of September, and we're going to have a full moon in Pisces and opposite the sun in the seventh house, going into the eighth house, just shy of 5 degrees. It's 6 degrees here. So really, it's going to still be a theme about partnership, but the theme has shifted slightly. So worthy of note, and why I'm doing this reading today. So we have a nodal situation coming up where instead of having the North and South Node Libra Aries, we're having a little intermission with Virgo Pisces. And Virgo Pisces is here to tell us that how we go about things, what we let escape us, that Moon Neptune sense of loss and the dissolving and addiction and all the many things that go with that Moon Pisces energy. We are in every way being asked to look at what's happening and for what reason, for our very survival. For those of us who are out of alignment medically now are going to start seeing that particular truth. So I have been hearing ever so slightly of the possibility of H1N1. I don't know this. This could be a manifestation of this. So what we're learning right now with these eclipses is we're learning between discrimination and assimilation, between isolation and integration. This is a mutable eclipse. So it's asking us to be flexible in our thinking. And I find it fascinating that our politics today is really showing just that people are really starting to maybe lose some of their fixed sense of how things are. And Virgo paying a little closer attention to the details. Additionally, possibly looking at leadership that has addiction issues, which is all just fascinating. So Virgo is about the physical plane, and as I said, the details, and being of service, about your pets. It's about the mundane things we do from day to day. Pisces is about the spiritual plane. Now, one of the things that I find fascinating is that I haven't been really podcasting that much, in part because I don't really know that the work I'm doing is all that exciting to people just yet. And maybe it'll never become exciting. It's exciting to me. So, that might be something I have to consider. And perhaps I need to be more aware of what is exciting to you when I read these charts. But this is what brings my attention, is the kinds of things I talk about. I do have major medical. I'm suffering from some fairly serious medical issues. And I started using astrology as a way to better understand myself. So I think that astrology definitely has a place in us understanding ourselves moving forward. It's fascinating to me that right now we're in the process, as this great ring of fire eclipse happens, of really reevaluating who we want for our top leadership position in the United States. Now, this is not a political channel, but I cannot help but see kind of the setup that is taking place here. And you can see right here that there is a grand trine that has set up. Not a very common sort of energy, where we are being asked to look at who our enemies are, and with some detail, with some amount of discipline. We are being asked to see the other in partnership, to see the details of the other in the partnership, perhaps there's been something wrong with the way we're dividing amongst ourselves, and that it is not in our best interest to do so. And additionally, we are finding that our ability to gather information via the internet, via networking, is a bit shocking, and not for the best reasons. Because why? People manipulate information. You can see this grand trine is going over to this 12th house, where here, this is clearly hidden enemies. Something is up. And someone wants us to believe that all of the information that they're providing, this is exposure of information, the information itself, and the internet itself. They're wanting us to believe it's all above board, but it's coming from a house of open enemies and hidden enemies. And likely not all the information is above board. So that becomes up to you to discern what you're hearing, seeing, sensing, and doing, and make the best possible choices for yourself. But really, that's not the biggest thing about this eclipse this time. This eclipse this time being in Virgo, the house in some respects of where some of our medical issues, along with the eighth house, really kind of lay themselves out. And so you have to wonder, in the sense, this particular eclipse, is it reminding us to clean up our house, to get the details straight so we keep our physical health straight? I would imagine that that's exactly right. Because I know for me, this constant political wrangling that's been going on for a while. I don't know when it all really began, but I know I'm exhausted, and I know most likely many of you are as well. I can't wait to just go pick up my ballot, cast my vote, take it to the precinct office, because I don't want to put it in a ballot box. I don't want to risk that. I just want to have my vote. If I can have it count, I want it to count. And I think that maybe I'm feeling like the times we're in, that our votes aren't exactly counting for us the way we thought. And that could be some of what this is, where a lot of us are feeling like it's important. We need to do something or sacrifice our position in our vote, but nobody really feels like it's safe enough to even do that. If you don't vote and you end up with somebody in office that clearly doesn't have your best interests at heart, then you have to decide for yourself what it is that's best for you. So I just kind of want to bring things around. And another really interesting issue that I'm finding now, again, as a reader, I have found that I just have not been all that, I guess, popular as a podcaster. Not that that is something that is necessary for me to bring these videos. It really isn't. That's what's kind of nice about what I do. But I want to bring information that's helpful and beneficial. And so if that's not what I'm doing, I do really want you to let me know, because there's no reason for me to be here if it's not helpful, beneficial. So at any rate, this eclipse is kind of in that range where you really do have to evaluate. And one of the things I'm seeing, and I was kind of alluding to this, is a lot of readers that are online and providing readings at this time may fall to the wayside. And why? I think the real readers are about to start popping. I think that the real energy this way is about to start happening, because there's a need, because we are living in times spiritually where, when the spiritualist speaks, it should either be the truth or you're not hearing what is in alignment with spirit. So and I find myself, I have been going through a process in the last, and it totally aligns with this particular eclipse. And my nodes happen to be Virgo Pisces. So I'm very sensitive to this. My South Node is in Pisces, where I know that how I've gone about things, present and past lives, has everything to do with the life I'm living today and the sacrifices that were necessary in this lifetime for my spiritual growth. And so these things are here to really assist us and remind us. But more importantly, this eclipse is going to hit a lot of people medically. And as you can see, we're talking, the eclipse is happening at 25 degrees, but it's also happening in the lower degrees of here, Mars in Cancer, where it is going to be hanging out for the next 7 months. And in this state, this is in Hawaii, this is going to be going on for the next 7 months, where some of this family, and it's very fascinating, the astrology, but where many of us, and this is my family included, we have been on a political divide like no other. I've had children accuse me of being a libtard and poisoning the other children. I'm not allowed to speak to, not that I would ever bring political information into it, but I have certain family members right now that have got me cut off from grandkids over my libtardness, which is just, I just find this whole, for all of us, that any of this is even happening, just to be sort of beyond gross. But people in this sense are just, they're demonstrating our cultural and ancestral mental health. And we're not well. And we haven't been for a while. And I think it's kind of up to us, South Node, and our Pisces moon, to start to kind of become aware that mental health, in fact, is a physical condition working for it to happen. The word dis-ease means that we are becoming ill because we are diseased. We're in a dissatisfied state. And you can see right here where Uranus is squaring our ascendant, how we go forward. So many of us, and it's basically it's squared already, and it's moving past, but it's moving, well, it's retrograde, but eventually it's going to move into next Gemini, where it's going to be operating in some strength in its ability to electronically provide information to us within the family. So this could indicate some healing within the family, which is much needed, as we have, as I see it. I know my husband and I have a yours, mine, and ours family. And we've had to completely redefine what our relationship looks like, because one, I'm really quite physically ill, and two, it just wasn't everything we both dreamed of, and three, we have had to make adjustments and decisions that have led us to not burning down the house, but recognizing that we can't go forward the way we once were, and we're not that anymore. And so we're going forward with a sense of honesty and integrity with how it needs to be. And so I think that this is a truth for many of us. So I'm saying, giving you a little bit of my personal information so that you have some ideas to kind of go off of, because truly I am the North Node, South Node, Virgo Pisces. And in my family, it has been an issue of who to blame. And what I've been needing to learn as the North Node in Virgo, to know what is mine and what I need to take responsibility for, and what I need to walk away from, what I need to say, I'm sorry, I can't, I'm not going to take responsibility for this or that or something else. And I think that a lot of times the Virgo Pisces axis, what we see is the manifestation of the scapegoat archetype, because it becomes quite fitting and easy for, and in my family, this is exactly what occurred. But I mean, with all Pisces Virgo people, this is a possibility where when there is something that's bothering a family member, it doesn't take them long to decide they're angry with me and I somehow caused it. And so I will say that at times I've thought to myself, well, am I the great puppet master? And do I have that level of control? Or would I even want it if I did? And the answers to these things are all no. And but it's interesting that time and again, this is the energy that I'm required as a soul to sort out. So there is some culpability on my part, or this wouldn't be happening. So, I mean, and this is something we all need to kind of grow up and face the music, that no matter who you are right now, no matter what you've done, we all have accountability in where this is going. So this is a ring of fire eclipse. It's a 12-minute long event. I don't know that I expect any groundbreaking, like the last eclipse, people were thinking the sky was going to fall, the world was going to end. And, I think that's a bit of an overstatement. Eclipses are an energy that we work through, and you have the eclipse and the what is that padlock, the numbers on it are getting dialed. The first one, click, next one, click, next one, click. And then that, when it finally ends itself in 18 months to 2 years, when the eclipses are finally through the entire process. And the next eclipse is going to go back to being a Libra Aries. So we're kind of bouncing between two node areas where it's really very interesting what's happening, where we're being asked to look at the details. Who is the open enemy? Who is the hidden enemy? Where is the self-sacrifice versus the acts of service? And just quite frankly, what are we going to do to move forward here? We've been rather stuck. And because this is happening in a mutable sign on both parts, there's going to be some flexibility in our thinking, and which is needed. And this could be why, honestly, all of a sudden you're seeing such a surge politically towards another candidate that wasn't previously there. And furthermore, on the day of the election, we have the grand trine again. So these are kind of like, again, that dialing in of the combination law. And something here in terms of the bigger picture is definitely unfolding. So the sun is the exposure of the details in the North Node. Be prepared for this to be, for you, possibly medical. And there is going to be, no matter what we do here, natural consequences. Now, whether that be in my case, where I go walking and I really learn that osteoporosis is alive and well in my body at this time, and that I'm going to have to take further precautions, wearing orthotics, ankle supports, and using walking sticks when I walk so that I can remain safe. All of these things for all of us are kind of the direction we need to go. And in this sense, our health is truly how we go about it. So with that, if you have questions, if you have medical thoughts, ideas, questions, please do leave your question and I will do my best to get back with you. I do work with other medical astrologers, and any charts that we see, we usually will take those charts into our meetings and look at them and really try to assess what we think we see for our own personal growth. So, with that, please do like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments. Join me in creating a community where we have some alternative ways of seeing ourselves, both medically, spiritually, and otherwise. And with that, I thank you so much for joining me here today.